The Hegel sound has always been about dynamics and low pollution. Pollution in sound terms would be all the extra sounds that are generated by the electronics, meaning distortion or noise. And dynamics basically explains its ability to show a difference between nothing and something. And in some senses, I think the Norwegian landscape and even our little town of Oslo plays into that quite nicely, because it is a dynamic town, it is a dynamic landscape. Oslo is one of those few places where you can walk into town and you can walk all over town and then suddenly it's forest and mountains and there is nothing else for 500 kilometers. There are no better examples to this philosophy than our two new integrated amplifiers, built around the framework of the Rust. First of all, you have the H90, which is the gateway into the Hegel sound, and then you'll have the H190, which is the Rust itself, but taken a lot further, both in terms of functionality and sound quality.
Our approach is to develop some things really well instead of just adding lots of features. This allows us to create a very efficient and responsive system. So when the user presses play, it plays immediately, no lag, no delay. We don't build our amplifiers around a computer, so to speak, because a computer will go obsolete very quickly, and so will the features that we might have put on there. Instead, we implement key features and we do them really well, and that will give the product longevity.
What really opened the door for us to create this new series of integrated amplifiers was the development of the new Sound Engine 2, which was a big leap sound-wise.
The main benefit of the new Sound Engine 2 technology is it has an increased dynamic range and it has a higher damping factor. Improved damping factor will control the woofers better than before. The benefits of the increased dynamic range is, of course, you will have more dynamics and you will also have a lower noise floor. Damping factor is the output impedance of the amplifier. So you need a really low output impedance to control the connected woofer. The H90 has an output power of 2 times 60 watts in 8 ohms. The H190 has a power output of 150 watts in 8 ohms. If you look inside the amplifiers, you will see the H190 has a bigger power transformer, it has more power capacitors, and of course it has more power transistors. The H90 and H190 has a different power output level, but both are using the new Sound Engine 2 technology. The H90 DAC has a really high dynamic range, it has a good input receiver circuit and has a really good power supply, preserving the dynamic range of the digital signal. The H190 DAC has a more advanced DAC chip and it has a more sophisticated power supply with an even lower noise floor. The H190 has a separate power supply for the voltage amplifier stage, so it will have an even improved dynamic range and a lower noise floor.
In the H90 and in the H190, we support AirPlay and UPnP, because these are the key network features. In the H190, we also support IP control and Control 4. IP control allows us to control the product through an IP connection, which makes it possible to integrate it into any home automation system. The reason why we chose to implement Spotify Connect is because, like with AirPlay and UPnP, the user can use his or her app of choice.
I really want to stress that the main point about these two new products is the increased dynamic range. And dynamic range is really important to have the best possible sound.
Great sound quality just isn't enough these days, but it is the foundation of a good quality product. But in addition to that, you need to allow people to use all of their devices seamlessly together with their stereo system. What we want to achieve with these products is to establish a new level of performance within the price range, both in terms of connectivity, but also in terms of sheer sound quality.